Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Luke, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
You excited to go to Green Bay on December 23rd?
I actually am.
Okay.
I'm sure that like a lot of people are like, "Oh, gross, Green Bay, December." As somebody who grew up in Wisconsin, like there is nothing better than a night game in Lambeau Field in December. That is going to be awesome. I don't care if I have to wear like 3 sweaters, 2 jackets. I'm like warm-blooded down here now. I'm like not used to the cold anymore. I don't care, man. It's going to be great.
Now, famously, our friend David Hellman was caught in the background of the Dez did or didn't catch it shot in a lot of pictures with his LSU beanie on, looking real uncomfortable. Are you prepared to make sure that doesn't happen for you?
Well, I'm not cool like Hellman, so like I don't get sideline passes during games. So there's no need, like unless they they decide to just flash up to the press corps and show all the like weakling New Orleans writers up there in their parkas. I'm not going to be shown on the.
Nobody in the New Orleans press has a parka. There's no chance anybody down here has one of those.
Man, you've been to the Superdome. You know, sometimes like, in September it requires a parka in the Superdome press box.
That is true. So point well taken. All right, let's look at the Saints' schedule. I kind of gave my thoughts on it yesterday when you saw it come out from a football perspective, not a Luke Johnson travel schedule perspective. What did you see?
I mean, man, that opening stretch of the season is really tough.
Yeah.
I think you could make a case they've got 3 of their hardest 5 games in their first 5 weeks of the season. There's a decent chance that they get off to a really slow start this year, just considering who they're playing. And I think this is a team that needs to get off to a fast start, you know? So, I mean, there's a couple different ways you can look at it. I mean, we just got done on our podcast a second ago. We were kind of picking the record game by game. I think I actually had them going 4-3 in that first 7-game stretch, which surprised me a little bit. But when you look at it, like maybe it is a good time to play the Dallas Cowboys, who are breaking in a new defensive coordinator and have a bunch of new players and didn't replace a bunch of their good players. Maybe it's good to play them early in the season. Maybe it's good to play the Philadelphia Eagles in week 3 when they're 3 games into having 2 new coordinators there and a bunch of new players. Maybe it's good to play the Kansas City Chiefs early in the season as a team that has kind of in the last couple of years really found its stride late in the year. Like maybe, but you're still playing the Cowboys, Eagles, and Chiefs in 3 out of your first 5 games. And that's just a really tough task for this Saints team specifically. So, yeah, I think if you're Dennis Allen, like you need to win a couple of those games you're expected to lose, that a lot of people expect you to lose, because otherwise, like seasons have a way of snowballing, getting out of hand. And I just think that where they are as an organization and where Dennis Allen is specifically, and a lot of people within this organization, you can't get off to a really slow start. I mean, people are going to be calling for their heads.
The game in that stretch that you didn't mention is at Atlanta, and obviously that takes on a whole new look with a new coaching staff and a brand new quarterback. How do you feel about that?
I think in my my little prediction game by game, I called that a loss. Just because it's the first game of these kind of that new look Falcons in this rivalry, and you could see just maybe some of the newness kind of factoring toward Atlanta in there, and even though I don't think Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a very good home environment, they do have the home field edge there. I just think that's going to be a tough game. I think the Falcons are going to be much better this year, and that one in particular, I had them splitting the season series, but like it's tough to have that kind of sandwiched in between those other tough games there too.
The Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift Chiefs defending champs, like they could be primetime every week if the NFL wanted to. Are you surprised that the Saints were picked as a primetime partner for Kansas City on a Monday night?
Yeah, a little bit, honestly. I was surprised the Saints got 3 primetime games generally, like the obvious one, sure. But like you said, I mean, the Packers and the Chiefs are 2 teams that could be on primetime every week.
Yeah.
Same goes for the Cowboys. And it's really interesting that the Saints are kind of part of that discussion and that equation there, because frankly, I mean, just like as somebody who pays a lot of attention to the Saints and a lot of attention to like national media coverage of the NFL, like the Saints have not been relevant to the discussion in the NFL for 2.5 years now. So to see them getting a couple primetime slots against really good teams, it's a little bit surprising. But again, like you could put the Chiefs against like the Raiders or like last year's Panthers, and they'd still be compelling TV for a lot of people. So yeah, I think it's one benefit to having some really good teams on the schedule this year for the Saints is they do get a little bit more exposure nationally. And if the Saints are, again, I know this is kind of taking on like a little bit of a doom and gloom, sort of attitude for me. But if the Saints exceed expectations, like they have a really good chance at showing people, like proving people that they deserve to be taken seriously this year, early on. So there's your glass half full thing on there. We'll see if it actually plays out that way. I think their offense can be pretty good if Clint Kubiak is just half as successful as the offense he's trying to bring in, the Shanahan offense. They have a chance to be good, but they have to actually do it first. So we'll see.
I realize that the start looks really, really tough, and every NFL game is a difficult one. But if you look after the bye, which is a little later than I would have hoped for it, but if you look after the bye, I'll just read it to you and have your reaction. It's a home game against the Rams, who are okay. Then you're at the Giants, who at that point may have moved on from Daniel Jones, quite frankly. Then you're home against Washington with the rookie quarterback. At Green Bay is difficult, but then you host the Raiders, and you're at Tampa, which, I don't know if they're terrifying to anybody in the league. I mean, that is a manageable finish if you can keep your head above water for 11 weeks before the bye week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Rams can be really good, but like Stafford's up there. I think he's going to be 37 this year.
Yeah.
They don't have Aaron Donald anymore, and you're trusting a lot of young guys to play really, really important snaps for you. And if Stafford can't stay healthy over the course of the season, which I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, that's a very winnable game. Green Bay is what it is. It's going to be really tough to play there any time of the year, but especially in December. But like Raiders, I feel like they might be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. Commanders, who knows what they're going to look like with Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels, but like history says, it's kind of tough to win for a rookie quarterback on a team that was really bad the year before. I said it on your show a lot last year, and I looked like an idiot every time I said it, but I just still feel like the Bucs have just like fraud written all over them.
Yeah.
They put a lot of faith. They put a lot of faith in like key players from a team that went 9-8 last year. It wouldn't surprise me if they just are terrible this year. So like definitely an okay close to the season. Like it's not easy by any stretch, like you said, but like there are some games in there that they should win. So if they can get through that early stretch of the season, that's very difficult. Again, big if, but if they can, like it sets up for them to be at the very least relevant to the discussion late in the year again.
And you obviously mentioned earlier the one obvious primetime game that we haven't talked about. It's Sean Payton coming back to the Dome for a Thursday night game with the Broncos. What do you think the emotion's going to be like in the Dome from the fan base that night?
Man, that's a really tough one to say, because I think the way he left, even though I think Sean's retirement press conference was really gracious and everything like that, I feel like the sense I've gotten from Saints fans is it kind of felt like he quit on him. Which is weird because he was here for 15 years. He was here through like ups and downs. But it's like Drew retired and he had one season of it and he's like, nah, I'm good. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be overwhelmingly positive at the very outset. But I do think that there's going to be a segment of the fan base that's just like, screw that guy. Like, let's beat the brakes off him. Because I think the Broncos have a chance to be really bad this year. Like they have one difference maker on their entire roster, Patrick Surtain, and their quarterback situation is a mess. They don't have a lot of talent outside of the quarterback to help them out. like it might be warm and fuzzy for like 10 minutes in the dome for Sean Payton, and then it's just getting brained again for the 12th time. So I don't know. That one feels like it could be just a really fun game for Saints fans, saying like, "Hey, thanks, Sean," and then thanks for bringing your bad team into town.
We'll all look forward to it. We appreciate it, Luke. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, man. See you.
Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.